What's going on, people? So, a while ago, what was it? I think it was September. I did my how to make YouTube videos, suggestions, tips, all that stuff. And somewhere a little bit before that, a little bit after that, did a live on that whole same subject. And a lot of that stuff was pretty helpful to a lot of people. That's cool, you know what I mean? But the thing is, not everybody wants to go through these long videos to get their information, and I totally get that. I'm right there with you, believe me, I am. So I'm making some shorter ones, and hopefully there's only gonna be like three of them from what I see right now. I think that'll be enough. Put them in a little playlist and all that stuff. Then you can get to them in a nice, like, concise manner, right? That's the goal here. We'll see how it all plays out, though. But this particular one is going to be about the analytics side of things, right? And what you can look at in there to kind of make things make sense for yourself and kind of give you some idea of how you can maybe make some things better, right? Because again, these are just suggestions or tips and whatnot. I'm not telling anybody this is what to do because I am not the guy that's like at the height of YouTube to be really giving anybody necessarily advice. But I've been doing this for a little while. I picked up a few things, and you can't deny that I'm doing all right for myself. So I'm going to pass on a little bit of what I've picked up to you, and hopefully you do something with it. And one of those things that I would hope that you do with it is pass it on to somebody else if it's useful to you. So, what we'll start with, and there's going to be like pictures and stuff, maybe videos, probably not, because that sounds like a lot of work. But basically starting with the analytics, right? So you're on the YouTube studio. It's one of the options in there if you're familiar with that whole thing. If you're not, you totally should be if you're watching this video. But anyways, under the reach section, one of the things that's in there that's going to be super useful is going to be the source of traffic, right? So you have multiple sources, and I'm not necessarily super concerned with all of them, but the two that I find to be super helpful are the sites and the words section or whatever. So when you look at like the sites, that's kind of just saying like, okay, well, these are external sites that are kind of linking to your traffic or linking traffic to you, I should say. So in the case of last year when I did that video about the 90 slides and that Netherlands site linked to it, I saw that in there, right? So if you haven't posted a lot of your stuff on Facebook, you'll probably see Facebook in there. If you happen to post a lot of your stuff on Reddit, maybe you'll see Reddit on there, right? So it's just going to be a link or a list of places that are linking to your information, which can be handy because then you kind of know where some of your traffic might be coming from, and maybe you can go and make a little bit of a more of an online presence over there for yourself, right? It just kind of makes sense in that way if you think about it. Now, on the other side of things, the words that are driving traffic to your channel, right? To me, that's more important. What's most important to you is whatever, you know. But the way I see it, if you look over here and you see what those words happen to be, which in my case, I believe like Air Max is one of the ones, right? Because I do a lot of Air Max videos. So when you look at stuff like that, it kind of gives you an idea of what you should consider putting into the tags and whatnot of the videos that you create later. So in the case of what I'll get into later on in like one of the next videos is more so along those lines of how to kind of look at your tags and see which ones you should use for the most part. But again, going down and looking at mine, you can see it's, unless something changes between now and when I post pictures, got Air Max 97, Nike React Presto Flyknit, Nike Air Max 97, Adidas Alpha Bounce slides, right? So you kind of look over those things and you kind of get an idea for what people are searching for. And that just kind of helps you keep an idea of what tags you might want to use later. Again, we'll get back into like the whole tags thing in another video or whatever. But just for now, know that this section is something you should not take lightly. But anyways, I'm not going to dwell on that too much. I'm going to move on over to the views portion, right? So this is also under the reach tab. And one of the things that people often talk about is consistency, right? Because I'm not going to get on the whole like how many views you should expect to have or whatever. You can kind of look at your own trends and gauge that for yourself. So again, going back to the consistency thing, people say that to get that to be consistent, to get those views up and all that stuff, you have to be on there all the time and all that. And yes and no. The way I see it, it is important to be consistent at your level, right? So if you are able to go like DJ Dells, he's able to go live twice a day, right? Not everybody can do that because maybe you have work things in the morning and kid things in the evening. Anthony Levine, I believe he posts his videos on Monday and Thursday or Monday and Friday. I think Monday and Thursday at like 8 a.m. California time, whatever you call that. So everybody has their thing. I just post mine whenever, right? So you got that going on. But then you have other people who aren't able to do that, right? So if you're able to just put up a video a week and that's your consistency, try to stick with it, right? And then just look at your trends and see how things are going. So for me, I'm not super good at being like having a consistent schedule. I just kind of do whatever and hope it works out. But the one thing that I looked at was last year I took was it like a 2-week break? Maybe you remember that. So from November 3rd through, I want to say November 18th, nothing, right? I didn't reply to anything, didn't post anything. I was just not doing the YouTube thing. And that did not affect anything whatsoever. I looked at all my numbers. Everything was pretty much right in the same area, you know? I mean, some days are higher than others and whatever, so it wasn't like a straight line, but it was pretty straight as far as I'm concerned when I look at previous and later dates. So there's that for you. And now, past the whole views and the consistency thing, one other thing that I'd like to get into is the audience tab of that screen, right? And one of the things that's super important in there, at least, well, I won't say it's super important, but it's definitely worth noting, is that little section where it tells you when your viewers are online, because you can use that to help you get an idea for when to publish your videos. And this is one thing that I did put in that video that I did back in September, the making YouTube videos, or whatever I call that, something about a workflow maybe. I put it in there, you know, some people watched it, and then later I did the live, like, well, man, I didn't know about that. It's like, you didn't watch that video, did you? Yeah, I'm on to you. But anyways, you look in there, right? There's going to be a little color-coded chart. I want to say it's like purple or something. Maybe magenta is the color they call that. I don't know. But anyways, you look in there, and it's going to give you per day, per hour block, when your people are online watching your videos, right? And so it's kind of cool. If you look at that, you can post stuff at a time. I would say maybe not. If you see all your people are online at like 10 a.m., maybe post something just a little bit earlier so that way when they get online, it's there. You know, don't post it like necessarily at 10, but your mileage may vary on that. Just take away the statistics and look at when people are around. But the thing is, that isn't necessarily going to do much for you in the long run. However, the key part, the way I see it, is that if you look at this, right, and let's say you put this video online when you know all your people are out there, then they're all going to be there to watch it, and that might help it kind of gain some traction, right? And as long as it gains some traction in the beginning or at any point, that's going to pull in some more viewers. It will be promoted that much more. So if you see that all your people are online at 9:15 in the morning and you post it accordingly, fantastic. If you say, you know what, screw that, I'm going to post it at 8 p.m. when nobody's online, you might get a very different result. So it's not necessarily going to guarantee anything better in the long run, but those proper steps in the beginning can make things a little better later. Just saying. And so then another thing that you can look into in there, and I urge people to look at this from time to time, is that you have the statistics of who's watching your videos, right? So if you want to look at like the subscribers and the non-subscribers, or you know, whoever's in your inner circle versus the outsiders, that's how you're going to find that out, right? So I was talking to Vlogging with Demetrius a while ago, and he said that he posted his first video that got over 1,000 views, but he didn't get a lot of new subscribers from it. And that's to be understood, right? Or at least expected. Because when you look at a lot of the trends, at least for most people, the number of people percentage-wise watching your videos, subscribed to non-subscribed, you're probably like what, 10 to 15 subscribed and then a bunch of other people, right? That's just the way it is, right? Not everybody is subscribing to things. I just hit 700,000 views not that long ago. Am I walking around with 700,000 subscribers? Of course not. That'd be ridiculous, right? I'm not Seth Fowler. I assume he probably has a lot, right? Because he's been doing this a while and is really good at it. But anyways, you take that, you look over there, and it can kind of put some things in perspective for you. And then on another tab, you can at least look and see, I believe it's on the first tab of which would be I think it's the reach tab maybe. But either way, the first tab of that does show you your subscribers and how that's growing or whatever. If that's at least consistent, that's a bigger thing to worry about, right? Because you don't want it to necessarily dip down if you're maintaining your own consistency, because then something has gone awry and you might want to look into it. But that's going to be it for this particular section. If you have any questions or whatever, please leave those down below, or you can get with me and we can, if we're like on Instagram or something, we can talk it out or whatever, do like one of those video things or something. Either way, just let me know what your questions are and I'll make sure that you don't have those questions anymore by giving you answers to them. So, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I got 2 more of these things to knock out here and then something about some action figures. Later, people.